A glimpse into the lives of artists, authors, and influencers, discussing sincere moments, shareable stories, and unfiltered memories. Let's take a snapshot with Neil and Sharol Josephson. I read an article back in December 2012, and it provided some stats on couples and marriages in Canada.
Yeah.
One was this, that the married couples represent 67% of Canadian families.
Right.
The second one was this, that men and women are getting married later on in life, around 31 years of age for men, and then 28 for females. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, for sure. In our work, there's no question that people are getting married older. And it's driven by a few things, I think. The need to feel like economically I can make this work. And so people are waiting until they're deeper into their careers or pay off their school or whatever. So, and we're neither here nor there on that. But I know you have more baggage. When people get married older, they generally have more baggage. They've had more relationships that they've been in and out of. If they've been sexually active, they got more of that process. So it's a factor.
Financially, it's a little more complicated.
Yeah.
You know, there's school debt, and there's, kind of yours,
assets.
mine, and ours, or you've got assets that you sort of got to
See, when we got married, we had $300 between us.
Yeah.
We were both got married young, and so there was none of this, how do we handle assets?
Did you guys have schooling?
Well, Neil had, but we proceeded to do our schooling after we got married.
After you guys got married.
Yeah, we
and
did.
you had $300 between the two of you.
Yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
yeah.
And I didn't have a job, and she was still in school, but we figured it out.
That was
We figured it
38
out.
years ago, too.
Wow.
I mean,
And
yeah,
how
a
old
long
were you
time
when
ago.
you guys got married?
I was
23.
19.
19.
I was a baby.
Wow.
So when our kids got to be 19, I'm like, what were
That
our
was
parents
crazy.
thinking?
Right.
Nobody should be allowed to be married at that age. I don't know.
You know, the other thing that you mentioned, the 67%, here's another stat, not to drown everybody in stats, but the Vanier Institute did a study. 90% of Canadians expect to be married sometime in their life. Like, marriage is what a lot of people long for and yearn for. Now, a lot of us don't know how to do it or do it well, but it's an expectation.
It's in us
So-
to long for and to want to do.
It is true. I went out over the weekend with some church folk and we had a blast. Some of the conversations that we had dealt with marriage and couples and why is there such a huge gap between, coming from school till when people finally get married. And one of the comments that came up was the coming of age.
Right.
It's much more later in life than early. So if you know yourself, if you have a strong self-awareness, then it's easier for you to kind of involve somebody else in your life. But if you don't have that self-awareness, it's kind of harder, to maintain a relationship.
And I think people are coming to that awareness later. It's been widely written about, right, that we're actually encouraging people to grow up late. So going away to college was a marker of growing up. In the past. Now it's, go away to college and just be crazy and wild and carefree. So we're postponing growing up even more. And so I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing, but it is a very common thing for sure.
We're not really proponents of any one right way to do it. I think there's lots of right ways to do this marriage thing, right? You can marry young and then you learn about each other as you're married. And kind of journey together towards understanding of who you are in that relationship.
Right.
Other people have to arrive at that point beforehand, and then they can join their lives.
There's pros
with
and
another.
cons on either side. When people get married older, they tend to come in with a lot deeper habits too. I've lived on my own for 10 years now. This is when I go to bed. This is how I spend my money. This is how I spend my free time. And now it's even more of a conflict to blend your lives.
Right.
But there's pros and cons on either side.
Right. Wow, so it's just a matter of, I think following God's voice for one's life, because this argument over dinner lasted a long time. It was a big argument, the coming of age thing and how self-aware are you? Why would you get involved? It was a huge...
Here's the key, whether you get married or you get married old, if you're not prepared to put your needs and desires second to someone else for the sake of them and the marriage or the relationship or the love,
Don't get married.
Don't get married. I don't care what age you are. That's what's required to build a good marriage. If I'm not willing to put Sharol first and vice versa, forget it. Stay single.
Yeah, and if you just want to sort of add somebody onto your life, like add a Lego piece and snap on somebody to your already established life, don't get married. Because that's not what marriage is all about. Marriage is giving over your whole life to somebody else.
Marriage, you blow up the Lego thing, put all the pieces there, and build something new.
Yeah.
Like that's really what you got to be prepared to do, I think.
Which doesn't mean you lose your individuality when you get married.
No,
you
but you build this together.
You build it together.
Yeah.